Why don't we go ahead and call our Sandy Urban Renewal Board meeting to order? Josh, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Board Member Mayton.
Present.
Board Member Smallwood.
Here.
Board Member Sheldon.
Here.
Board Member Walker.
Here.
Board Member Exner.
Here.
Board Member Hookinson.
Still here.
Board Member Jones.
Here.
And Board Chair Pulliam.
Here. All right, welcome to Urban Renewal Board meeting. Shoot, I didn't pull up the agenda, so will you work with me, Tyler, and start us off?
Yeah, absolutely. So next up is the approval of minutes, Mayor, or
Yeah, from,
Board Chair,
yeah, so
Sorry.
we have our approval for meeting minute
from February
from
20th.
February 20th. Is there a motion to adopt?
I move that we adopt the minutes from February.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up on our agenda, the facade grant approval for all county surveyors.
Thank you, Board Chair. See here, I have a little slideshow.
When he says little slideshow, I'm thinking I should have taken a break.
Yeah, right.
There's some visuals that are helping.
It's a little,
It's not allowed.
it's a little slideshow. No, don't worry. Why can't I start it? Oh, there it is. Come on now, it's getting tired. Okay, so I just wanted to say that this is for all county surveyors and they have a building on Pleasant Street, so I'm just gonna go through this. This is a facade improvement grant request. The owner of all county surveyors, Darren Clow.
Yes.
Okay, I got it right.
Excellent.
He's in attendance tonight, not to present, but to answer any questions you may have, just like we did with the last one for Sandy Underground. So I'll just jump right through it here. There we go. So here's the location. If any of you are unfamiliar with the location, it's right by the intersection of 10 Acre Road and Pleasant Street, just to the north of 7-Eleven and Dutch Bros. So I'm not going to go through each one of these, but there's two main elements to this proposal. One is to demolish some of the materials on the exterior of the existing building, and then to put a bunch of Sandy style features on it. So right now it is not Sandy style by any means. The building, I think, was built in the 90s and predates the Sandy style, which was adopted in 2008. So this is just kind of a list of the main material changes, including a rock base and some stained beams, which I'll show you here in a second. The second element, which is a small portion of this project, but which can be funded through urban renewal funding as well, is to make some ADA upgrades. And like I said, they're pretty small, but just bring this building and the parking lot into ADA compliance. So this is, I just drove by there and took this picture a couple days ago. So this is what it currently looks like. I believe it's vinyl siding.
All vinyl.
Yeah, it's all vinyl siding. No window trim, because usually with vinyl siding, they just butt it right up to the casing for the window. Or if there is trim, it's very thin.
Yeah, there's no trim.
Yeah, and then so the covers actually meet the Sandy style requirements, except they're not designed in a Sandy style fashion. And then we have some windows on the one on the east facade, which is facing the parking lot, which are horizontally oriented, which Sandy style wants them to be vertically oriented, like the other windows on the building. So as you'll see here, here's the main changes. There's going to be all new siding, 2 new windows for those 2 windows that are horizontally oriented. There'll be window trim, a belly band in between the 2 floors. The top floor will have lap and the bottom floor will have board and batten. And then there'll be a minimum of 36 inches of stone, cultured stone, as the Sandy style requires. The 2 entries will also meet the code for distance, for the 5-foot distance off of the entries. And then they'll also have some exposed wood beams that will be stained. So it would really turn the building into a Sandy style featured building. The only thing that it would be missing would be the roof pitch or the articulation requirements. But with existing buildings, we've seen that that's almost impossible to do. Because I think even McDonald's, when they basically gutted it, they couldn't even accomplish some of those requirements as well. So I think it's a great looking design. They already went through design review with my office and we already approved this design to meet Sandy style. not part of this grant, but they're also putting on an exposed cover for their staff for like a break area on the south side of the building. So that'll just be another added element to the building. And then really quickly, here's a couple of the
Not,
ADA.
not part of our cover
Correct, yeah.
structures, just
Yeah.
separately funded.
And then-
Also in a Sandy style-ish.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely the case. The Sandy cell doesn't, or the facade grant doesn't allow for new roofs. It does allow for new entry covers, but not new roofs. So I know that's kind of a fine distinction, but this is how we've applied it to the past. And then here's the ADA upgrades, putting in an ADA path, putting in the push buttons for ADA, and then putting in the handicap spot with the signage. So the request is for $40,429. The max we can grant is $41,500. So even if they did have a small change order on this project, which wouldn't be atypical of a project of this size, the change order would only be for less than $1,100 on our end. So we would be, the Urban Renewal Agency would be funding 41.9% of the total project cost of $96,430. Just to remind the board, you allocated $400,000 for projects this biennium for tenant improvement, facade grant, and also the covered structure program. To date, we've allocated just over 119,000, so we have just over 280,000 remaining. And staff recommends approval. We think it is a great addition to downtown Sandy. And I also wanted to highlight, which I didn't in the staff report or my presentation, but there's something that just occurred to me earlier today. I think it'd be really nice that our main surveyor and engineering firm in Sandy, who deals with a lot of customers that come to Sandy to build Sandy style, that when they come, they can see kind of what that looks like at their site.
All right, questions and discussion or a motion, Don?
Just first question, as a surveying outfit, how many employees do you typically? 11 here, based out of the area and
They're all
spread?
based
Hey, Dan.
in two.
Do you mind just coming up, just so that online it catches yours? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Name is Darren Clow, County Surveyors. We have 11 employees. We have 2 that work remotely in Pennsylvania, but the rest all work here in
Excellent.
Sandy. They all commute from either Gresham. We have a handful that live here, and then everybody else commutes from out of Sandy.
I've heard that the surveyors in the Oregon, the West, that the average age is quite old for surveyors, and that it's an industry or a trade that isn't
It is.
replenishing fast enough. Is that true?
That is very true. That is very true. But we are aggressively pursuing new college kids that are coming out of college, and we've got one trainee right now that's going to college, and we're supporting him, having him work for us.
Excellent.
So it is a dying breed. There's no doubt about it. Everybody wants to be an engineer.
But isn't it also true that the backlog for surveyors is huge and one of the fundamental pipeline problems in producing housing?
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. We are not looking for work. I mean,
Right.
we have work lined up for,
So I love
Quite a
this
while.
project. I hate generally everything that comes from Salem in terms of producing housing. This helps produce housing.
Yeah.
Creating a nice place for people to come and work
absolutely.
who want to join this field will help housing. So I am,
And we
all in.
remodeled the interior. The second I took ownership of it, I went in and gutted the inside and revamped the whole interior of the building and created a whole different feel, and I want to move forward with this exterior remodel. And eventually, we hope to grow the business that we end up expanding
love it.
in Sandy. I mean, HAS is who I'm trying to compete with,
Nice.
and they're a big outfit.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing,
Yeah.
for coming in.
Absolutely.
Will this be our first Sandy style location on Pleasant?
Lubamba has Sandy style.
Lubamba.
Yeah.
La Bamba.
I love that it's on Pleasant Street as well.
Yes.
And
When
it's
it kind of starts that line coming down from the
Yeah.
police station and the health center there, and something's gonna get built on that corner eventually.
Sure.
That'll be a nice building there as well.
Well, I love the idea of having people come into the office there and seeing the Sandy style.
Absolutely. And I'm all about Sandy, and I love this town. I moved here 2 years ago, and And it was all about this city council is why I came here.
Oh, good.
So,
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion. Unless there's any further discussion. Make a motion that we accept, is there proposed language? I'm missing.
No.
Just realized there wasn't, apologies.
No worries, I'll just wing
40,000,
it. I will wing it and we'll see how we end up. I make a proposal that we accept the facade grant improvement for all county surveyors in the amount of $40,429. $429. Thank you.
There's a second.
I'll second.
Motion by Counselor Sheldon, enthusiastic second from Counselor, Board Member Hoganson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
okay,
nays.
excellent, guys. We appreciate it. It's gonna be money well spent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Tyler, we got the tax break.
We do. Thank you. So in order for the Urban Renewal Agency to continue to fund projects like the one you just saw, we have to generate property tax revenue in order to have that revenue stream to provide those
Always the.
grant. What's that?
Need
Always
that
the
money.
accountant.
Sorry, it's, bred into my soul a little bit. So, for many, many years, we used to just do this resolution when we adopted the budget and we would collect 100% of the possible tax revenue that the Urban Renewal Agency could generate. About 3 years ago, that changed because the district was in theory so successful that we had triggered revenue sharing as defined by ORS. And what that essentially means is that a portion of the revenue that is above the frozen tax base, not to get too far into the weeds here, but we share with the other taxing districts and we get to only keep about 25% of that. And because of that, the increment that is used to calculate the property tax has to be updated annually now. And so you'll see me every year in late May, June, coming back to have this conversation. So the question before you tonight is to whether or not to impose whether or not to impose the tax increment value of $116,622,625, which will approximately generate just over $1.9 million of imposed taxes for the upcoming fiscal year. It's right in line with what's in the budget. So, the budgetary impact here is none if you approve it, and if you don't approve it, significant. And with that, happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll just keep it brief.
Now, to reiterate, or at least to identify, these are not raising taxes to the business owners. It's just raising the amount of taxes we're taking from the county.
That's a great point, board
Makes me
member
feel good.
Exner. Urban Renewal does not generate new taxes. Urban Renewal redistributes existing taxes. So there is no, change or increase on someone's property tax statement. This is just a reallocation of existing tax levies that are already in place.
I have a motion.
All right, I just want to say though, Tyler, I'm not opposed to you bringing it to us, but I hope somebody is the finance guy.
I would also, I second that.
That's all I have.
Can we make a motion for that too?
Yeah, right.
I move to adopt resolution 2024-13, resolution setting the incremental assessed value for the Sandy Urban Renewal Agency.
I'll second that.
Motion by Board Member Mayton, a second by Board Member Walker. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nays. Motion carries. With that, we'll adjourn. Thank you.